My name is Sharon Roseman, and I have DTD, which stands for Developmental Topographical Disorientation. When I do this right now, my shower doors that I see in the mirror are going north-south. If I close this and turn around and look at my shower doors, they are going east-west. That's how I perceive it when I look in here, but when I've described this to friends who don't have my problem and they do it, they say, oh my God, yeah, it's weird. When I experience my world shifting 90 degrees, I call that my flip. I've flipped.
There is an organization called NORD, the National Organization for Rare Diseases. They've designated now about 45 or so centers of excellence for rare disease. And so Anschutz is certainly trying to be that place in Colorado. We have that designation. We have a rare disease center of excellence here, which I co-direct with a colleague of mine, and that's designed to help us understand and manage rare diseases as best we can. So there's an official definition that we use based on a Rare Disease Act that Congress put together a number of years ago related to orphan diseases. And I think that was something like 200,000 patients or fewer in the United States. Another simple way of defining it is these are diseases that most of us as clinicians haven't seen or have rarely seen. And so we're not as experienced and comfortable with those conditions as something else like diabetes or regular heart disease, for instance. In my clinic, where I would be considered an expert in this space because of the years I've been doing this, probably once or twice a month I'll see something I'm like, I've never seen this before. This is different or unusual. So even those of us who are in the rare disease space constantly get surprised by the fact that we've not seen something or that what we've seen before has been incompletely described and we're seeing new features of it.
I went to a doctor and she said, so you're saying if you spin in circles and then open your eyes that you're not going to be in the same room? And I said, yes. And she said, well, then I want to see you do that. I got up. I put my hands over my eyes like I always do. I went in circles and I got that sensation and I opened my eyes and I said, okay, I'm not in the same place. And I was embarrassed and humiliated, but I did it. And she says, has anyone ever suggested the possibility of you having a multiple personality disorder? The first time I was validated, which was the best thing in the world for me, it was when Giuseppe, he called and discussed everything with me on the phone and he said, you're not imagining it, Sharon. You're not stupid. You're not paying attention. You have a real neurological disorder.
It's rare to find a patient who presents with a rare disease and gets diagnosed right away. So there's often a lot of either missed opportunities for diagnoses or sometimes diagnoses that aren't entirely correct. So our hope would be that patients with rare diseases get identified a little bit more by their primary clinicians and their subspecialists, just to sort of recognize this patient has something that's unusual. Maybe there's a rare diagnosis I'm not aware of. How do we get them diagnosed? So we'd like to see the diagnostic timeline drop substantially.
Growing up, Grandma was always someone that I really looked up to because of her story and how brave I thought she was to have to navigate living life through DTD, especially as a young person. It seems so scary to not be able to have a diagnosis for something that you live and experience every day. It feels so blinding to think about someone who was growing up and didn't know what was going on.
So even those of us who would claim to be rare disease experts or aficionados have a lot of things we've not seen. And so one of the skill sets we're trying to develop in our new physicians is just how to be comfortable with something they've not seen before. And so how to learn about a new disease, read about a new disease, and be prepared to sort of help a patient understand that. It's a skill set we don't really train our students because we teach them mostly common diseases because that's all we have time for.
You read these stories all the time about it took me 2 years to find out what was really wrong with me. And I don't think it's because doctors are being cruel or mean. They're just so focused on what they have learned in their specialty. Some of them are willing to say, let me talk to somebody else who might give them a heads up on maybe somebody else you could talk to or to see. And those are the doctors that you pray you get.